Trigonometric limits. With trig limits, which are initially indeterminate, we can sometimes use trig identities to rewrite the top or the bottom or both so that the common factor to be cancelled appears. For example, to calculate the limit of cos x over sine 2x as x approaches pi over 2, which you can verify is initially indeterminate, we can use the trig identity sine 2a equals 2 sine a cos a. Thus, the limit of cos x over sine 2x as x approaches pi over 2 is equal to the limit of cos x over 2 sine x cos x as x approaches pi over 2. So using this identity, this trig identity, we've swapped sine 2x for 2 sine x cos x. Now we can cancel out the cos x on the top and the bottom, and we're left with 1 over 2 sine x. So the limit of 1 over 2 sine x as x approaches pi over 2 is going to be 1 over 2 sine pi over 2. We're just swapping that x for pi over 2, which gives us a half. So just to show you how we know that cos x over sine 2x as x approaches pi over 2 is initially indeterminate, is because cos pi over 2 divided by sine 2 pi over 2 is equal to 0 over 0. So that's why we had to rewrite things. So this is page 14 of our formula book, and this is the formula that we just used. This is our double angle formulae. For other trig limits, when x approaches 0, which are initially indeterminate, we can make use of the following special trig limit. So this is our special trig limit, and it's not given in our formula book. If x is measured in radians, then the limit of sine x over x as x approaches 0 is 1. And the limit of x over sine x as x approaches 0 is also 1. So it doesn't matter if x is the numerator or the denominator, or sine x is the numerator or the denominator. If x is approaching 0, we end up getting 1. So this is not in our formula book. But although an analytic proof of this limit exists, which we do not have to look at, we can verify this limit practically by taking values of x in radians very close to 0 and evaluating the fraction sine x over x or the fraction x over sine x. The closer the value of x is to 0, the closer the fraction is to 1. So for example, if you were to do into your calculator 0.001 divided by sine 0.001, you would get 1.000000167, which is very, very, very close to 1. However, if you were to try sine of 0 over 0, or else 0 over sine 0 in your calculator, you'll get an error. So the closer the value of x is to 0, the closer the fraction is to 1. It is important to note that the angle must be measured in radians, so you must be in rad mode. The special trig limit is only valid if the angle is the same as what is on the other side of the line. So for example, the limit of sine 4 theta over 4 theta as theta approaches 0 is 1. So we have to have 4 on the top and the bottom. The limit of sine 2x over 2x as x approaches 0, again, is 1. So we have 2x top and bottom. And the limit of 7x over sine 7x as x approaches 0, again, is 1. Example. Evaluate the limit of sine 5x over 4x as x approaches 0. To arrange to have 5x below the sine 5x, we shift the 4 to one side and multiply above and below by 5. So the limit of sine 5x over 4x as x approaches 0 is equal to the limit of sine 5x over 5x multiplied by 5 over 4 as x approaches 0. So where did we get this from? So sine 5x over 4x can be rewritten as sine 5x over x multiplied by 1 over 4. Because what I'm doing here is I'm breaking apart the 4x. So I've got x times 4 gives me 4x. So technically on the top I have sine 5x multiplied by 1, because anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So if you multiply this back out, sine 5x times 1 is sine 5x, and x times 4 is 4x. So I've just broken this term apart. Next, what I'm going to do is multiply by 5 over 5, because technically you're multiplying by 1 and that does not change the value. So I have sine 5x over x times 1/4 times 5 over 5. And now I can start to rearrange things. So on the top, I'm going to have sine 5x, and then 1 times 5 is just 5. So I haven't changed the numerators at all. And then I'm going to multiply the x by the 5, so I've got 5x now in my denominator. And I still just have the quarter, I still have the 4. So x times 5 is 5x, and then multiplying that by 4, I leave the 4 on its own. So that's how this becomes sine 5x over 5x times 5 over 4. So now that we have sine 5x over 5x, it matches up with our special trig limit. So we know the limit, sine 5x over 5x as x approaches 0 is 1. And we're going to multiply it by the 5 over 4, and 1 times 5 over 4 is just 5 over 4. So although it's important to know where this came from, really what we did was we just shifted the 4 to one side. So we basically just brought the 4 outside. So we brought it over here as the denominator of our second fraction. And we multiplied above and below by 5. So we stuck a 5 on to the x, and we stuck a 5 over the 4. So that's the shortcut to doing it. If a trig limit contains a cosine, note that as cos 0 equals 1, the limit of cos ax is equal to 1 as x approaches 0, where a is a constant. Also, if a trig limit contains a tan, write the tan as sine divided by cosine, so sine over cos. So evaluate the limit of 3 sine 2x over 5x cos 3x as x approaches 0. So if you were to substitute x as 0, we would end up having 0 over 0, which is indeterminate. So we're going to start by separating the terms that do not give 0 when x is equal to 0. So i.e. the 3, the 5, and the cos of 3x. From those that do give 0, for example, sine of 2x and the x. Then we're going to convert the sine term into a special limit. So the limit of 3 sine 2x over 5x cos 3x as x approaches 0 is equal to the limit of 3 over 5 cos 3x multiplied by sine 2x over x as x approaches 0. So what we're doing here is we're breaking up the 3 sine 2x. So we've got 3 as the numerator of one of our fractions, and sine 2x as the numerator of our other fraction. And 3 multiplied by sine 2x gives us 3 sine 2x, so it works out. And then we're breaking up the denominator. So we're going to take out the 5 and the cos 3x, so that's going to be the denominator of one of our fractions. And then that other x will be the denominator of our second fraction. And multiplying it back, 5 cos 3x times x gives us 5x cos 3x, so it works out. So now that we have separated these two fractions, what we want is to rewrite sine 2x over x in this format so that we can use our special trig limit. So sine 2x over x is going to become sine 2x over 2x multiplied by 2 over 1. So let's see where this came from. So sine 2x over x is the same thing as sine 2x over x multiplied by 1 over 1. So multiplying by 1 over 1 does not change things. And likewise, we can multiply again by 2 over 2. That doesn't change things either because 2 over 2 is 1. And now we can start to rearrange this. So we're going to take the sine 2x down here and keep it as the numerator of one of our fractions, and 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2. Then we're going to take this x and this 2, and this will be the denominator of this fraction. So we have 2x, and then we're going to take the remaining 1, and that's going to go down here. So we have sine 2x over x is the same thing as sine 2x over 2x times 2 over 1. So since this x was really 1x, what we did was we shifted the 1 to the other side, and then we multiplied above and below by 2. So we brought the 2 in here and the 2 down there. Okay, so now we have the limit of 3 over 5 cos 3x multiplied by sine 2x over 2x multiplied by 2 over 1. And it says x approaches 0. Now cos 3 times 0 is going to be 1 because cos of 0 is 1. So 5 times 1 is just going to be 5, so we end up with 3 over 5. Sine 2x over 2x is 1. That's from our special trig limit. And 2 over 1 is just 2. And then multiplying, we get 6 over 5.